This is the Mulanje Massif, forested with the endangered Mulanje cedar. It is home to Sapitwa Peak, the highest point in Malawi at 9,849 feet. On this particular week, in February 2025, Southern Africa is about to be hit by a huge tropical storm. We didn't really know it yet, but we were about to be in for a very rainy week on the mountain.
I've never gotten a homework assignment that's like, help plan a 6-day backpacking trip for 16 people and make sure it goes smoothly and that there's a safety plan and a route and food. So that was quite the challenge. We thought something would go a certain way, or that a section of the hike would take a certain amount of time, and maybe we're behind schedule, ahead of schedule, things are unexpected, it's raining, whatever's going on, but we just had to be very adaptable in our planning.
This is us before Mount Mulanje. We just left our backpacking lodge, and for whatever reason, I'm out of breath already, so.
Are we there yet? Frank. I like it already. That's enough.
For today's What's in My Bag, we have Kilabania taking the med pack with an NRS strap.
2 liters of saline, 47 Band-Aids, I think. Like 30 IV kits. We got all kinds of catheters, drip sets. You already know. Danzatron.
Only the hiking essentials.
Dexamethasone, epinephrine. The list keeps going.
It was around this point in the hike when the mountain started to give us a taste of what rainy season in Malawi is actually like. That little cloud turned out to be a rain cloud. And now we're in the cloud, and it's raining. Christine, what was rule number 4? Or, I'm looking for embrace the sun. First views of Chambe Peak. Chambe? Right? Chambe. The guide here says it's called that. It means white. It's like this lichen that grows on it. These gentlemen here are our guides and porters for the trip. Wanderson? This is Wanderson, a senior guide on the mountain who's been guiding his entire life. These guys are the ones showing us our route for the week. They know everything there is to know about the mountain. Yay, yay, we made it. Pretty views, Whoa!
That is. But guys, everyone mark Christine for a second. Yeah.
The Mulanje Mountain Club and the Malawi Department of Forestry maintain a series of huts throughout the Massif. The first one we visited was Chambe Hut. Okay, day 2. Just vlogging, don't mind me. Day 2. Mount Mulanje is home to the endangered Mulanje cedar, a giant cedar variety that used to cover the entire mountain. It is also home to the mountain cedar, similar to the Mulanje cedar, but smaller, rounded, and less critically endangered. Between wildfires and illegal logging, the Mulanje cedar has now been reduced to an area of just 8.5 kilometers squared across the whole mountain.
great storm that Saunders predicted has arrived.
Up until this point in the hike, we had largely escaped the tropical storm, but as soon as we got to Chisepu Hut, it started raining and didn't stop for almost 24 hours.
We have moved into an emergency put your tent underneath the awning. We're making the best use out of the space we've got. We have an emergency tent traffic jam.
The next morning when we got up at 5, it was still raining, which meant no summit for today.
Well, it's morning, but it's still raining, so we're probably not going to be able to make the summit today. Our river over there, our creek has turned into a river, so Tent City, going back to bed.
So we originally planned to summit on the third day, but then it was pouring rain all of that night, blowing our tent around. It was raging. Like, I thought the tent was going to blow away with me and Annie inside of it. It was an intense storm. And so we had to adapt to that. So while everyone was kind of holed up in this little cabin, we did some group stretching, some group games. The rain ended up stopping, so we were able to do a fun waterfall hike just about a mile away, I think. So we just were flexible with it.
And the storm, 100 miles, you were like, the storm was an hour out, 100 miles from. So I'm like, dang it if I don't beat that storm. We drove 110 for the next hour, and I was like, oh no! You okay? Oh, you're lucky there wasn't any nails. Oh my god!
With our bid for the summit rained out for the day, this is a great time to learn more about the critically endangered Mulanje cedar. The Malawi Department of Forestry is responsible for protecting the cedar population on Mulanje. This includes fighting the forest fires that threaten the trees. Our guides told us that they don't do nearly as much firefighting as they used to because there are so few trees left to protect. They've also closed logging, legal and illegal, since 2007. But illegal logging has remained popular because of the high price and utility of the cedar timber. Around that time, there were also 50,000 seedlings planted around the mountain to reestablish the forest, but they will grow too slowly to stop the current deforestation. The International Union for Conservation of Nature estimates the cedars will be on their way to extinction by 2030 and that there were fewer than 50 mature trees left in 2019.
But the rest, we are going to walk in gentle walk. Sure. Any question?
Hi guys, welcome back to my vlog.
Christinky, say hi.
Oh, I can stand behind you and just in there with
Everything's dry.
I have some surgeons
Bye.
On the way, we passed several foggy forests of the small variety of cedars, which grew out of the rock crags.
Not holding it in anymore.
You're looking real close right here. This is actually a perfect spot for the elbow bar move. Know before you go.
Know before you go.
The climbing became significantly more technical the higher we got, so my camera had to go in my bag for the rest of the hike. With the fog rolling in, the mountain became a moonscape as we neared the summit.
Ingrid.
As we left Chisepu Hut, the stream that had been an easy crossing a few days ago had swelled with the rain.
This is the same creek. This is the same creek we crossed to get here
3 days ago.
3 days ago,
Yeah.
but it's rained quite a bit since then. So we're gonna wait until it goes down.
We waited a half an hour for the water level to go down, but ended up just crossing at the best possible spot.
We made it through the river, and the only person who got wet was me. So, all in all, 1 for 16. Not too bad. Everything, all the camera stuff stayed dry, so that's a plus.
After my fall in the river, the rest of the hike down was uneventful, but not easy after 5 days of hiking, including the summit of Sapitwa. I should say that it wasn't easy for our group, but the local guides and porters with us seemed to have superhuman abilities to hike down slick rock with sandals, Crocs, and tennis shoes.
We're debating with the porters on if they can just leave us in the dust, because they absolutely will. Yeah, these guys are impressive.
Every year, the Mount Mulanje Conservation Trust holds an event called the Porter's Race. The race follows a grueling route that goes 25 kilometers up and around and down the Massif. William, one of our guides, has completed it several times with a personal best of 2 hours and 45 minutes. The current record is just over 2 hours, and keep in mind the race route is similar to the one that has just taken us 6 days to hike.
I actually didn't know anything about it until we were actually on Mulanje. Andrew Saunders, our program director, was just talking about the Porter's Race, and he mentioned to me, because he knows I like to trail run, he mentioned, hey, it'd be cool to see if you could do it and what time you'd get. And then I don't know how serious he was with that, but I took it seriously, and I was all in from that point. I was asking questions about it, seeing if there's any way it'd be possible to do it. I went with William, one of our local guides that works as a guide and a porter on Mount Mulanje. He's done it several times, and he actually came in third in this last year's race. He's pretty quick. Yeah, I think he's done the race 6 times. He's started as a porter and a guide at age 20, and he's 26 now. So.
William agreed to take Caleb on his own down, back up, and down again to run the Porter's Race route.
The race went really well. It was definitely pretty tough. We started off at a pretty good clip. We were up on top of the plateau, which is almost a mile vertical, and we were up in there in 57 minutes. So by the time we got up there, we were kind of dead. Took a quick break, and then you're just running along the top of the Mulanje Plateau for the next 2 hours, about covering several kilometers up there, and it's just up over saddles and crossing creeks, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It was the best run of my life, probably, and the hardest one.
As we were coming down on the 6th day, Caleb and William passed the rest of the group on the way down. Caleb's time was 4 hours and 14 minutes, which puts the records into a pretty good perspective.
Also, just realizing how much attitude is important during a trip like that. If someone in a leadership position is kind of wearing their heart on their sleeve too much or putting any negative emotions out there, it can really impact the morale of the group. And so just seeing that throughout the trip, that it's really important as a leader to not like hide your emotions per se, but to manage them in a way that's helpful for the group, and to be putting a positive image and positive energy out there, because people are looking at that and they're going to feed on that, and it's kind of going to help determine the direction of the group.
At the end of day 6, we said goodbye to our guides and porters. All 16 of us were pretty tired, but what we lacked in energy, we had made up for in memories.
That was embarrassing. I'll never do that again.
This is us after Mount Mulanje. All right.
Hand this to Kevin.
Kevin.
Hand this to Kevin.
And this is Kevin. Give us Kevin.
This is the Kevin.
Gideon.